Call this meeting to order. Determined as a quorum present, Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, and myself. We have a quorum. Commissioner Nettleton, if you would please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't have any sheets. Citizens' comments. We're going to go ahead and go to item 35. Consideration and approval of an order authorizing the issuance of Valverde County, Texas combination tax and limited pledge revenue certificates of obligation, Series 2019, providing for the payment of said certificates by the levy of an ad valorem tax upon a taxable property within the county, and further securing said certificates by a lien on and pledge of the pledged revenues of the county's library system, providing the terms and conditions of said certificates, and resolving other matters incident and relating to the issuance, payment, security, sale, and delivery of said certificate, authorizing the execution of a paying agent registrar agreement and a purchase and investment letter, complying with the requirements imposed by the letter of representations on file with the depository trust company, authorizing the execution of any necessary engagement agreements with the county's financial advisors and/or bond counsels, and approving an effective date.
The end.
Jesus Christ, that's long.
Judge, I move that Commissioners Court adopt an order authorizing the issuance of Valverde County tax obligation or combination tax and limited pledge revenue certificates of obligation, Series 2019.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
Let it be known that it was a 5-0 vote. Every member of the court voted yes. Item 36. Consideration and approval of an order by the Commissioners Court of Valverde County, Texas, authorizing the issuance of up to $1.7 million Valverde County, Texas revenue notes, taxable Series 2019, and the pledge of the pledged revenues as security therefore, prescribing the form, terms, conditions, and resolving other matters incident and related to the issuance, sale, and delivery of the notes, authorizing execution of a paying agent agreement, a loan agreement, and a purchase and investment letter, enacting other provisions, incidents, and related to the subject and purpose of this order, and providing for an effective date.
Judge, I move that Commissioners Court adopt an order authorizing the issuance of Valverde County, Texas revenue notes, taxable Series 2019.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
Also, is a 5-0 vote.
Do we have numbers? Do you have the sheet? We can look at that.
You have it? And we've gone in and received, I think you said 7?
7
On the COs?
on the COs from 6 different banks. Yes. So I think the county ought to be very, very pleased with that.
This one came in a lot lower than what the first numbers that you gave us.
We did, and so we were very pleased. Commissioner Nettleton, the numbers for your late night reading are very, very bad. But as I indicated, Commissioner's Court Judge, I was very pleased. This thing started out a little bit differently than where we ended up.
And then it got worse.
Given that we ended up with 2 series of bonds. And the folks from Norton Rose were obviously very helpful in being able to part the sea and ensure that the revenue notes, because of their intended purpose, were adequately secured. Revenue notes typically sell with higher interest rates because they don't have the benefit of the countywide property tax. We did have 2 indications from 2 local banks that they might be interested in those revenue notes. However, early on, one of the banks said that they would likely not bid on the notes if they also didn't get a mortgage on the piece of property. And we knew that that was a deal killer. So we did end up getting what I thought was a good bid from Texas Community Bank. And just real quickly, on the handout, and Judge, we appreciate moving up our items so that we can notify the successful bidders as early as we can this morning. On page 3 of the handout, obviously the financing team included my firm, Hilltop Securities, the 2 great lawyers from Norton Rose. We did engage FTN Capital Markets. They served as the placement agent. They're the folks that have the contacts with the various banks, particularly for the COs. I thought they did a great job getting 6 different banks interested in the outstanding debt and the debt of the county. Those banks were Amegy Bank, BB&T, First State Bank of Uvalde, Key Government Finance, which actually submitted 2 different bids, and Sterling National Bank and TIB. And then, as I indicated, there was one bank that sort of survived the process, and that was Texas Community Bank, and they submitted what we thought was a very good bid. On page 4 is kind of the wide summary of the various bids. And what I want to make sure that the court understands is, because you're going to look at this and you're going to assume that some of the rates look better than others, but in talking with the judge yesterday, what typically happens with banks, and it's irrespective of whether it's a local bank or a bank across the state, they're not very interested in buying COs that are longer in maturity than 10 years. That's typically their sweet spot. So what they typically do, and as you can see there with the bank, the bid from Amegy Bank, BB&T, and the 2 options from Key Government Finance, and TIB, is they wanted the option to reset the interest rate either 10 or 15 years out. We were very fortunate in getting a full 20-year bid from First State Bank of Uvalde and Sterling Bank, and so that made those bids better, because you know what the interest rates are going to be beyond 10 and 15 years. And so when we calculated the true interest costs on both of those bids, First State Bank of Uvalde, which we're recommending that the court approve, provided the lowest cost on the COs, and then Sterling Bank, if something would happen with the First State bank bid from Uvalde, then we would fall to the next best bid, which would be Sterling. I don't expect that to be a problem. I did talk with Jeff Kuhn yesterday, and he has worked with this bank before, and so he doesn't have any concerns.
I guess one of the other concerns was, and you addressed it yesterday, was that if this thing completely comes unraveled, we don't want to end up with this money sitting in the bank and we can't give it back.
Yes, Judge, as Raul mentioned, in the bid specs, we literally typical had the banks who were bidding for the revenue notes and the COs designate a person who can make a business decision. And I got emails last night from both the business decision people that in the unlikely event the land does not close on before January 1st, 2020, both of those banks agreed we could set back the principal and just pay accrued interest to whatever you promote, and they had no problem with it. So the concern that we had that, although we think, since there's a title policy on land, we think that the remote that's going to happen, we don't want to be in a situation where the county had sold $6 million in debt and couldn't buy the land. So you have documentation from both of those banks that agreed to do exactly what you said. So I thought that was very fortunate.
That First State Bank came in awful low on interest, which is phenomenal, at 1.8 in the beginning of the 3. That was a lot less than I thought. That's some awful low interest. That will, since we're doing interest only on the first year.
For the COs.
Yeah, that'll be an extreme savings.
Yeah, and I'll show you that on the next page, Commissioner Nettleton. I was pleased because typically, again, on this kind of loan, particularly with banks, they, in addition to not wanting to go out very long, they'll typically bid one rate, right?
Yeah, I've never seen it done.
And so they actually bid, including Sterling Bank, they actually bid like a typical, what we call a serial maturity, right? unlike a house mortgage, where we have one rate through the 15 or 30-year period, they actually bid an interest rate for each maturity of bonds. And that's actually beneficial to you because it works out to be a better true interest cost. So we were very pleased with that.
What's our call on these bonds?
5 years for either the First State Bank of Uvalde or the Sterling
So in
Bank.
5 years, we can pay it off if we wanted to.
Completely, partially, whatever you might desire.
That's great. Usually, normally, it's a 10-year call.
Right, right. But again, the banks are real finicky, and so if they can get a shorter call, oftentimes they prefer that. I just wasn't expecting a 5-year call with the kind of interest rates you got. So the county judge and the court ought to be very, very pleased with those interest rates. On page 5, just real quickly, when we calculate out the bid from the Bank of Uvalde, the true interest cost is going to be at 2.73%. I think initially we had told the judge maybe 3.5%. Then I hedged it down a little bit because he forced me to. At 3%, so we actually ended up doing a little bit better than that. The average annual payments on the COs are going to be más o menos $280,000 a year, which is much lower than we were expecting initially. Right, Matt?
That's right.
And then on page 6, just quickly again, 1.7 million for the revenue notes. Revenue notes are always going to sell with higher interest rates because they don't get the pledge, the countywide pledge. So again, the TIC on that one was an easy one. The TIC on that loan is a 4.25%. Those average annual debt service payments are going to be, again, just a little north of $275,000 a year.
But that one there we can pay off at any time.
Right. Oops. The other thing, thank you, Jeff. The other thing is the revenue notes, because of the intended use of those proceeds, longer-term use of those proceeds, those have to be sold taxable. So in addition to not getting the countywide tax pledge, you also were selling those as taxable bonds. That gives the court, the county, the option to do whatever you wish with that particular piece of property.
I'll just 1 minute. I mean, I really want to thank the court. When you look at the interest rates that we're getting, it's because the job that the court has done and our auditor, with what y'all have done, that's one of the reasons we can get these interest rates. I mean, it's phenomenal. Thank y'all.
Well, that, Judge, and also getting banks to be interested in buying the obligations of this county. So again, you ought to be complimented for that. We've worked very, very hard with Matt. He's on a trajectory to actually get an underlying rating for the county, which you folks have not had since we did the loop project, and then I came across the highway and the loop was closed. That's why I'm sure that's another discussion, but...
And that was going to be my next question, is it time for us to start pursuing a bond rating?
That's, we're on a trajectory to come back to the court, hopefully in the first quarter of 2020, and perhaps get with the rating agencies, bring them down here so that they understand that you folks aren't on the edge of the world down here, and have them see what's going on in Del Rio, have them be interested in what's going on down here, have them meet some of you, if not all of you, and understand that this is starting to be a well-run county, and Matt has got the finances of the county with your cooperation, obviously. Don't spend it, but he's on a great trajectory to actually get a great underlying rate for the county. What that'll do then is it'll move us sort of to the next step of when you're ready to borrow money. We won't have to go out and do these private placements with banks and hope we get, first of all, a number of bids, and then secondly, that we get good bids. You're already doing that, so that tells me that the trajectory that the county is on to get a good underlying rating, we're on the right path. So, again, Judge, unless there's any other questions by the court or yourself, that's the extent of my presentation, and we look forward to the closing.
You keep getting up and whispering in the ear. I'm getting worried.
The lawyer always is talking in your ear.
You're forgetting to be.
No, the other thing you remind me about is that the revenues are callable at any time, which was important. That also impacts the interest rate, right? But again, I was very pleased with the outcome. I was extremely pleased with the COs.
Oh, yeah.
To get 7 different banks to be interested in the debt of the county, I think you folks ought to be commended for that.
Thank y'all.
That's good. Thank y'all so much.
We're good.
Matt.
Thank you so much. Y'all be careful.
Jamie here today? Thanks.
Thank y'all. Thank you. I didn't see you. Both of y'all here? Judge Henry? Okay, I couldn't see you. We're gonna skip around. Go to item 24. Judges? This one here, it's item 24, budget adjustment for fiscal year 2019-2020, removing base salary for the 83rd and 63rd district coordinators, court coordinators. And what I've seen, I think we need to remove it.
I'll make a motion to remove the base salary.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. We'll go to item 21, salaries for 83rd and 63rd judicial district court coordinators. Judges?
Good morning.
Morning.
The last time I appeared before the court, I was unaware of the 74.104, which I have copies for each and every one of the commissioners this morning, if you all haven't had an opportunity to review it.
Those are the ones you already handed out, Judge.
Yeah, I did hand it out. And the statute is very unclear. It says the judges shall determine reasonable compensation for the court coordinators, subject to the approval of the Commissioners Court. So in digging a little bit deeper, I found that Attorney General's opinion that I also attached. If you all have any questions on that, please feel free. But it basically says that neither one of us has the ultimate authority to do it. It's a statute that collides within itself. So the Attorney General's opinion comes out and says that we must collaborate. So when I look at the definition of collaborate, it means we must work together to set up this particular salaries that we're asking for. And I know that you wanted a salary, but really, when I was here last time, I suggested one, but then Judge Henry has his own idea of what salary he wishes for his employees. So it wasn't out of disrespect that I did not provide you one. It's the fact that we are taking into account the fact that the employees are unique. In one instance, my employee has 17 years experience at the job, the assistant court coordinator job. His employee has 7 years experience. So he would like to set a salary different than the one that I would like to set. And so that's why we weren't able to come up with a figure. And so what I proposed was to go ahead and have a little type of arena in which we could all agree on in terms of how we can adjust salaries and work together in a collaborative manner in order to do it. And so I'll be happy to answer any questions, or I can turn it over to Judge Henry and let him elaborate on what his position is.
So
I went ahead and that was just kind of some talking points that I put together. And if you have any questions on that, I'd be happy to try to address them.
what salary are you asking for? You're asking for. I know he's asking for something
Well,
different.
I kind of came up with another formula, and I'm glad that I was able to sit back and actually think about it a little bit more. The formula that has statutorily is the one that I looked at, was the one for the court reporter. And the one on the court reporter, up to 10%, the judge can issue an order, and we can adjust the salary at that point. That salary, and the reason that I kind of clung onto that one is because it gives us an opportunity to look at what the market is and what people are being paid in that particular rate. And what happened in that regard is that I did that this year for the first time in 7 years, almost 7 years. I actually utilized that statute. And the reason being is because my court reporter is 75 years of age. And I had to start to look out and see what are comparable court reporters being paid. And so I issued an order to try to up his salary, because I'm going to have to attract another one at some point. And at the time that I issued that, I think he was getting paid like $69,000.
Okay.
And when I looked around, comparable court reporters are getting paid 96, things like that, thousand. And so it's something that We have dedicated, loyal employees, but every now and then we have to look up and see what the market is. And so I suggested that in that particular talking points, that maybe that formula would be something that the court could live with, because no judge wants to make himself a flashpoint for any kind of salaries. But at the same time, we have to look at the individual and see what their qualifications are, and then look at the market and then see what we can do to retain those employees, because they have a wealth of knowledge. And that was the thing that I think, Commissioner Middleton, you were concerned with, that, hey, we have to pay them the same amount of money as well. In essence, really we don't, because a judge hopefully can be able to come in and ask, you know what, in this instance, like in the court reporter scenario, mine has 47 years experience. And I think that really means a lot in this day and age, that someone is dedicated in that position for a long time, and we should reward that kind of experience. And you want to keep those people. And the danger is, when you don't keep them, it just implodes your office, because there's no way that you can get somebody in there with that kind of experience. So what I'm trying to do is make sure that we don't lose those kind of people.
No, I totally agree with you, but I'm trying to get to, yeah, what are we talking about money-wise? I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because
Well,
The court coordinator in 2018, 2019, if you don't mind, Judge.
just not a
$50,785.55. If he does the 10%, which that's what you just brought up.
yeah, it would be up to.
Okay.
Up to.
And we'll just figure high and then we'll work
Sure.
from there. If we did the 10%, it would come out to $5,078 and some odd cents. So we would be talking about $55,864. Is that pretty well?
That would be, look, it's a collaborative effort, so the way the collaboration is, maybe whatever you all think would be something appropriate.
Well,
something I would
the
listen
court
to.
actually adopted a 3% raise, which would have been $52,309. So we're $3,600 apart. That's after the 3% raise.
that's if we do 10%.
Yes.
And I'm trying to understand what we're trying to get to here. I mean, because I've read the AG's opinion, I've read the opinion we got from our outside legal counsel, and this particular statute is so vague, it's not even funny. It requires us and y'all to come up with an agreement, but if we don't agree, it never tells you who. It kind of says the court makes the final decision, but it kind of doesn't say the court makes the final decision. So I think there's a two-part to this. One is we need to get something from the AG to clarify exactly how this is supposed to work, which would be the AG's opinion that's there kind of addresses it, something similar, but not exactly the same thing as we're dealing with here. So, I'd like to see us get some kind of opinion on how does this actually work, or what is it supposed to work like at the end of the day. But so you're basically asking for the ability to have 10% above, because we took the base salary out, so the new salary would be the 52,309, which went into effect yesterday. So that's the new salary, and then if we do anything above that, then that would be the new salary for whoever comes in after that.
Correct, or at least they have that option. And I think what we have there is that, say for instance, somebody wants to bring in somebody at 40,000, because maybe they don't have, obviously, in that instance, Nova has 27 years experience as of January of 2020. Maybe they bring in somebody, and they could bring them in from anywhere. It might be a young student, whatever. They want to see how they work. They want to see if they can pick things up. They want to see what their work ethic is like. They want to see how they interact with the public. And then at that point, if they see that they're caught on and they're going to be able to adjust that salary upward, they should be able to do that to get them where they need to be. So it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody's going to come up at the top and say, you know what, you deserve the top. I think they need to work it up. I think they need to merit it. And I think in this instance, these are dedicated, loyal employees that have merited it over the time frame. And I don't want to take up too much of y'all's time, but I think it's a formula in which could be workable.
I'm trying to understand the formula. I mean, because Annually, we have a budget.
Understand.
And through that budget process, we set salaries and we decide if we're doing 3 or 5, or whatever the number may be for that particular year. You're talking about a situation with these employees where you would have the authority throughout the year to adjust those salaries based off of some percentage, I'm assuming is what we're talking about.
Yeah, I just say 10 at the high end, and that's why I left it blank on that piece of paper, because this is a collaboration. This is not me saying this, and, I would like to see what you all's ideas are. And like I said, it's a statute I realized one time, and because I know I may have to replace someone.
No, I totally understand what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying, and we have this problem countywide. I mean, these are not the only positions that we have this issue. We have employees that are going to be retiring over the next 10 or 15 years that have a lot of knowledge and have a lot of ability, and we're going to have to figure out how to find somebody to plug those holes. So this is a countywide problem, as me and you have discussed. This is not a district judge's problem. This is a countywide issue and how we address these issues with elected officials. I'm just trying to figure out what we're trying to get to, because, we're kind of all over the place. I mean, we've got 2 court coordinators at 52,309, and we've got 1 court coordinator at 59,741. So we're kind of not all on the same page, which is something that, and I understand that goes with experience and time, and there is some variances, and we need to do those. So what I'm trying to understand is what are we trying to get to today?
Okay, so you're asking me what I really, really want,
Yes.
if I could get to that from
Yes.
you. I would like to see the people compensated at the same rate, because they're doing,
All 3 of them at the same.
yeah, and I think, and I have no intention of coming back if that were to be the case, because at that point, I trust you all to make the judgment to increase them the rest of the way. I just think that they've fallen behind in terms of where they should be. And it's glaringly obvious with the assistant court coordinator.
Right now, we're talking about court coordinator.
Okay, well, court coordinator, I believe that she should be compensated. But, and this is the problem, it turns into a storm when you start making comparisons with others. I don't want to do that. I understand that. What I want to do is just, but I think at the same time, I think it would be fair, because it diminishes the district courts. If they're not at the same rate, it looks like it's not being fairly and evenly handled. And I'm not saying anything negative there. It just seems like the gap needs to be closed.
Okay.
That's all. So that's on that one. And if you want to do it one at a time, that's fine. And I don't want to take up all the time. I mean, Henry's here, so but Henry's here too.
The court coordinator, you mentioned one in county court at Law making the 59, but she's been at that position more years than yours. Yours has been there since 2013. So, and then a little while ago, you said do 10, that you'd go up to 10%, which if we were to do to the county court at law, that's 16%. Not 10%.
Yeah, well, you asked me what my druthers were. So I was reluctant to throw a figure because we're supposed to collaborate. So I'm willing to listen to whatever you all think is reasonable, but I believe that there's such a disparity there, and maybe not as bad as the assistant court coordinator, but there is some disparity there, and I believe that we should be able to come to some type of resolution on that.
Well, in my deal is, I mean, a lot of this is based on years of service at that position.
I don't disagree that is a good factor. However, I don't think it takes into account the whole person, because Nova was at the top of the county, at the district clerk's office when I took her out of there. And so she had a lot of experience at the clerk's office, and those are the type of people you need to recruit.
Well, and when you took her over, you wrote a court order and we bumped her to 40,000, which was more than what the base salary was there.
Yes, I did. That was in 2013, and
Yes,
that's
sir.
the only time I have issued an order in almost 7 years on that. And maybe that was my lack of understanding, but she's picked things up very well, done a very excellent job, and she's been loyal. She's been an employee for 27 years.
Judge, appreciate you coming, appreciate you standing up for your employees. You're a good boss. I wish you would listen to the silence in the room. Every department head in here, every department head can stand up and say your speech right now. So this is a countywide problem, not just your department. But I appreciate you bringing this to us. And it's how far you can take through the whole, doing all of them, that's beyond me. But you've got this one, looks to me like we might have to consider.
I appreciate that. And I think what I'm not trying to do is create problems for you all. I am not here to do that. You all have enough on your plate. The thing that compels me to come before you is that we have a statute that allows the district court to set that. And that makes it, I hate to say it, it makes it a bit different. The other employees are completely within your purview. Completely. You do whatever you feel is just and right. This one, since that statute is there and allows the judges to set the salary, makes it unique. And maybe that's what makes it problematic.
No, and you're correct in saying that, but it also says that the court must agree to it.
Absolutely.
And when we get into this, when you keep bringing up collaboration, me and you talked before I posted my budget. We visited on the salaries, we didn't agree. We came to the court during one of the budget hearings, and at that point, the court didn't agree either. Okay, we're sitting here 2 days into this budget, and now we're fixing to make a change. That's sort of hard for me to comprehend because we've had the time before. And I just between you talking, and we've had this conversation. I mean, it's pretty simple. We either keep it at the 52,309 or the 10%, which is 55,864, somewhere in between. That's why we're here. I would leave it at the 52,309, but the court needs to come up with a decision. And like I told you, it'd be a court decision.
And I've got to share in that responsibility. I was unaware of the statute when I appeared before you. Nothing like getting pushed back to go back and, try to research some more. And when I found this, I felt that it was incumbent upon me to bring it to you. It's just that simple. So we want to work within the framework that you have. We want to work within the salary structures that you do. We want to work within the budgetary timeframes that you have. And whatever happened back then, we still have the opportunity to do the right thing now. And that's why I wanted to bring it before you again. And that's the crux of it. And I just, that's what happened. And,
You know what, Judge?
Judge,
Go-
all I'm going
Anna,
to say,
no.
is judge. That's it.
Okay.
And you know what?
Thank you.
My, if the law says I have to do it, I'm going to do it. The problem I have with this particular statute is it makes it so unclear. It says collaborate and agree. It says we can't set it, but you can't set it, and we have to agree on something. And it leaves it so vague as to where everybody comes down on this. I mean, I really would like some clarification on this. I mean, I've read through the legal opinion that we received. I've read through the AG's opinion. I've read through the statute. This is one of those infinite wisdom of our state legislators thinking they know best about how to do things, and have never had any experience doing it.
I know you all have had to deal with a lot of that.
Judge, what do you want?
Oh, this is the only last thing I'd like to say on that. Because the statute is so vague, I don't believe an Attorney General's opinion is going to solve it. And that's the thing.
And me and you can agree on that. And the last conversation that we had, I think it needs to go one step further. But it's perfectly clear, though, when it comes to the auditor, when it comes to purchasing, and when it comes to court coordinator. Those are perfectly clear. We raised the salary on some of them, which we put it in the budget, we go on. This one here, I'm gonna hang my hat on that at the end of the day, it's not clear. We're supposed to collaborate, but the court is in charge of the budget. So to me, it gives us a little bit more authority to do it. And the judge understands, that's what I'm gonna hang my hat on. Okay.
I understand. What I don't, I think now I'm speaking as a taxpayer. Not as a judge, not as an official, just a plain John Doe taxpayer. This is not worth the financial resource investment to go down that road, because we're so close. I would have concerns about that.
When you say the financial resources to go down that road, that sounds to me like litigation.
I don't know. Nobody wants that.
That sounds to me like a lawsuit to determine the viability of the statute and the Constitution and to clarify the authority, which I think at the end of the lawsuit, exactly what's going to happen is they're going to come out with an opinion that says the legislators need to go back and clarify the statute, which you can save all those steps by simply going to Austin next session and having them clarify the steps. And they need to, and this will be something that I will be visiting with them about in Austin. This needs to be clarified, you know, who has what authority, because when you have an issue that says collaborate, we're not always going to agree. You know, and it creates a problem when you can't get to an agreement of something, you know, which is something we'll deal with in the next legislative session.
Well, I've taken.
I
just don't. I don't think that's moved so slow.
No, it'll take years to get through that process.
Yeah. And I think I'm hoping that maybe we could have at least had some suggestions come from you all. That's what I'm asking for, suggestions that you may have.
You know, I think everybody knows where I feel. We leave it at the 52,309. In July or August, when we start this process, we look at this again. But that's only 1 out of 5. You know. But I'll entertain a motion to go to the 55,864 or set the salary different than the 52,309. If we don't get a motion, then I would say that it stays at the 52,309, and then we'll need to take another step, Judge.
Before you vote, can we hear from Judge Henry? I think that would be. Can we hear from Judge Henry? Of course. Thank you.
I just thought that we were asking for 2 different things.
Well, I just like to thank my colleague.
Okay.
No, first of all, I want to thank you for getting us out of order. I'm right in the middle of a jury trial right now, and I got a jury that's waiting on me. But I basically agree with Judge Cadena. However, where we do differ is that the way I read the statute is the determination has to be made as to a reasonable compensation subject to the approval. We know that budgetary process you control. In my proposal, you kept on asking, do you know what I want? Mine is not. I'm not asking that. And the other thing where I do differ a bit from Judge Cadena is that each different office and employee is unique. I do understand about the experience factor, and that means a lot. My request makes no comparison to anybody's office in the county. None. And do you have my figures?
We've given them to them at the beginning of the budget process in July and August.
I don't have it with me right now. But
I can give it to you. Yeah. What has been given is the 52,000 for the coordinator, and I asked for 54,340. Okay, that's not comparing it to anybody's salary in the county. The assistant is set at, what is it?
35,328.
35. whereas I asked 36.7. That was my determination of what a reasonable compensation would be. And then the other difference in our offices is that I definitely am facing, as you probably all know, I've got one more year left in my term, and I've made the determination that I'm not going to run again. I just know of two people that are vying for this position, and this county is going to be served well by either one of them. If somebody else gets in, I'm sure the county is going to be served well, and they're entitled to bring their own people. And at the salaries, current salaries, it would be very, very difficult to replace them. And getting these people up to a reasonable compensation that we need to agree upon, I think it'd be my successor would have a better chance at attracting more qualified people.
I totally agree with you. I've been having this conversation for many years that I've sat on this court. We have a countywide problem. The judge this year has fixed a lot of those. We still have a long ways to go. We've had a problem for a long time when it comes to compensation of our employees and how the structure fits. And we have to take into account in our pay structure system a way to compensate somebody for staying. There has to be a longevity system for those employees that have stayed here 15, 20, 30, we have some that are close to 40 years now. They have to be compensated in some way for that, because that knowledge continues with them no matter what. Understanding that there's always an end to if you have a dump truck driver and all he's going to be is a dump truck driver for 40 years, that's great. But there's a beginning and there's an end to that salary. Mm-hmm. But he still needs to be compensated for the time that he spent beyond that. There needs to be some compensation system in place. And in my opinion, those are the pieces that we're missing, is for those employees that just want to do that job and they do it very well, and there is a max to that, then they need to continue to get something for that. This has been a problem that I think we've had for a very, very long time. And I think we've gone back and forth for years about what that solution is, and it's never an easy solution no matter what, especially when you're dealing with all elected officials.
I understand. And again, like I said, the difference between me and Judge Cadena is I believe that every employee is unique, and I don't mind if the salary for my staff is not in line with the salary of other staffs. I understand that has a whole lot of factors that we're taking into consideration for those people to get to that salary. I'm just talking about the statute says that the termination has to be made a reasonable compensation, and if it's not solely the authority of the judge. We understand that budget process is controlled by the Commissioner's Court, but I think that the statute is so poorly written. However, it highly presumes that judges and Commissioner's Court can come to an agreement rather than have to be antagonistic with each other. And I'm not, how many times have I come before you guys? I don't do that. I understand what your duty is, and I know what we got to do. So, but if you're asking what my request is, that was my request, what I feel is the...
And it was in the budget. It's just been a while since we went through that
Sure.
process, so I don't remember off the top of my head. So.
Understood. Willing to answer any questions.
Your assistant court coordinator is under... You actually have, well, not the lowest paid assistant court coordinator, but close.
And as far as, okay, well, yeah, she's not the...
Yeah, I mean, she's
got 7 years experience. Yeah, I know that there's others that have less and others that have more.
My biggest issue is not that I don't agree with both of y'all that we need to fix this salary structure. opening this door outside the budget cycle. That's my biggest concern here, is I can assure you that if we decide to do this today, I will have at least 5 or 6 elected officials standing up here over the next 60 days asking for the same thing.
I think what the difference is that the other employees are subject to your control. This one, the coordinators, is subject to a statute, which is a very vague statute, but it does say that we make that determination, and of course it is subject to your approval. So, it shouldn't cause a domino effect.
Oh, it will, trust me. I mean, whether it's right or wrong.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
Yeah.
for coordinators, there is statutory authority for doing this. Whereas on other employees,
But that's just the court coordinator, not the assistant court coordinator.
Well, coordinators, the statute deals with coordinators.
There's a statute for prosecutors too.
And there are others, there are certain statutes for auditors and, but basically, the county employees are governed by the commissioner.
And y'all don't believe that an AG's opinion would clarify this statute?
Not the way it's written. I think I think you're right. There has to be, the law has to be rewritten.
So let me ask you a question. We go back to the legislative session, and not next year, the year after, y'all will help us with rewriting this particular statute?
I won't
So that we can, well, whoever's here, Judge, you'll be here. It needs to get clarified. I mean, it just leaves the door to a very interesting area.
It does. So that's my proposal.
Okay.
Is what I've got. Okay. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Let's do this. Let's go to the 83rd court coordinator. The salary right now is $52,309.12, which includes a 3% raise. They would like to take it to $55,864, somewhere in between. Do I hear a motion to take it somewhere in between the $55,864, or no motion at all?
Judge, I can't, I agree with what they want. I just don't like that we're doing it outside the budget process.
Do I hear a motion for anything? To go to the 55, or no motion, which would mean that we would leave it at the 52,309?
Can I ask you something?
Yes, sir.
Is it possible, since this is what you all are concerned with, this may be an Attorney General's opinion, that at this point, a vote may be premature? Maybe we can table it, and then we can ask for an Attorney General's opinion together.
And I'm perfectly fine. I would love to do that.
I think that would be the appropriate thing to do, because I don't see you all as unreasonable, and I hope you don't envision us as unreasonable. But I think together, if we would ask for it together, with input from whoever you need to have input.
I think that would be great if we can draft something, all of us look at it, agree, because the thing about an AG's opinion is you're getting the opinion based on how you ask the question, so.
Motion to table this, Judge.
And ask for an AG's opinion?
I believe so. I think that's the reasonable thing to do.
Second?
Yes.
Okay. And who's going to draft the AG's opinion?
It'll take both sides.
Can we do it, Bickerstaff? Okay. And then we can, y'all can draft up and they can draft and then make changes.
Are we
Are
okay
you
with
okay
that?
with
Yeah,
that?
we know what to ask.
Yes, sir.
I think the letter that we sent to you is a good start, because it frames the issue right there, and if you just want to attach cases that you believe are appropriate.
We have a motion, Commissioner
Let's do that.
Wardlaw.
I second it.
Commissioner Nettleton seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote.
We will work together on coming up with how that
Language.
works.
I think it's great.
All right,
I think we'll get it done.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Item 23,
Table.
item 22, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Item 22, there's no need for it, so we'll
Table.
table that one. Motion table?
Motion.
Commissioner Nettleton, second. Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
All right.
Thank you, judges.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
Good luck with your case.
Almost done. Thank you.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you. We are, Houston.
And then Ms. Markowski or Ms. Smith, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
We're gonna skip all over the place, so B, we're gonna take care of you next. Sorry. Go to item 18, recognition of years of service and presentation of plaque to Ms. Beatriz Munoz, County Tax Assessor Collector. B has worked for the county, my notes here, for 34 years. Beatriz P. Munoz came to work for the county on December 16, 1985 in the tax office as clerk, working alongside Mr. Hyde. She was promoted as Chief Deputy Clerk May 26, 1999, and B became the Tax Assessor Collector on May 1st, 2004, which she has held since then, both as appointed and as an elected official. Ms. Munoz. The plaque reads, and don't start crying, because you start, I'm gonna start. Let's not start. With our greatest appreciation, we hereby present Beatriz B. Munoz with this award of recognition for your 34 years of outstanding commitment and dedication services as Tax Assessor Collector for Valverde County from December 16th, 1985 to November 30th, 2019. And on the bottom, it has all the commissioners and myself named at the bottom. And if you'll come around over here and we'll get a picture with you and present you with a plaque.
I'll have my husband and come in.
Better than I thought it You're being recorded, right? You got something to take pictures and put it in the paper? All right. Is he coming? Okay.
It's not an easy place to get through over there.
Judge, when it's in science, arrange it. She's gonna arrange it.
I'll go get her.
I told her, but she didn't hear me. She's embarrassed.
They're gonna arrange it.
Procedure.
They're gonna arrange it.
I know.
I promise not to push you.
So you want the left side. Yeah. Qué linda.
Okay, got everybody.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, B.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and recess for about 5 minutes. We'll come back in about 5 minutes if y'all don't mind. Richardson, what comments?
Well, she's slowing down. It was awful. I know we had Jacob 42. And I had to I'm so sick. I'm writing the animal control ordinance. And it started at 20 pages, now it's 44. We need this every day. It's going to be a lot of work for the sheriff. It's going to have to be a full-blown department. I don't know if
The world
time that Gage's opinion comes out,
It ain't gonna matter.
you that budget's in here. I think the AG will come out and say it ultimately it's the customers.
Oh, I think they will too.
But Henry said,
No, I think it's, actually, I'm not so sure that if you took it to litigation, if you don't agree, I'm not so sure the judge would say that then there's no salary for that position. By the time we get it, we'll be in the next.
I might not even be here. I can have a heart attack and die.
With this stupid shit.
We ready, Commissioner? I'm ready. Okay. We ready?
I know.
Court come back into session, it's 10 o'clock. Item number 6, subdivision plats? None. Certificates of compliance? None. Monthly report from elected officials?
Move.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Payment of bills?
Motion to approve.
Second, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Auditor's report?
How are we doing, Matt?
Adequate?
Money to make this month.
What is adequate?
It's like that commercial, it's okay.
It's okay, yes.
How much interest this month?
This month, we'd have to check on the treasurer's report, but,
We were just outside,
okay.
visiting, and the tax class is $4,046,000, what we have in that one, and tax pool, I think, was at $2 million.
Correct.
And then we have a little bit of money that's gonna be left over from the fiscal year. So, it's more than adequate.
So we're actually gonna earn more interest on the money we have than what we're gonna be paying for the first few years
Paying interest?
on the note that we.
Correct. Now, okay.
Oh, I had to say that.
Yeah. Okay.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
We will be filling out our arbitration.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item number 11. Everybody gets scared when you start talking about money because you want to know what's afraid. I need to go get another water. Item number 11, budget adjustment from available appropriations. A, $10,200 to autopsy. This should be the last one, right?
No, they're going to keep straggling in throughout the month. So,
Is this out of last year's budget? or-
correct, out of last year's budget. Because we have to go on the action date, and the action date is probably going to be in September, even though we received it in October, or even into December, November.
Contingency?
There is no money in contingency.
Correct. Right now, we have 24,000 in contingency,
Yeah, but you have more than 24,000 between these two items.
but wait, there's more.
Oh,
Okay.
but wait, we're gonna throw in against you now.
Yeah. Currently, in the jurors, the 63rd District jurors, we did have budgeted a little over $30,000. We've been lucky, and we haven't been able to dip into that at all this year. So that balance remained there at $30,700. So we can utilize some of those funds. We can sweep all or a portion of that over to facilitate these bills.
Okay, I'll make a motion to move that money into contingency and pay these two items out of contingency.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Right.
5-0 vote. For the record, we took care of A and took care of B, the $22,000 attorney's fees. Treasurer's report.
Preliminary report.
Okay. Juanita Barrera, HR, 13, transfer money to employee wellness account in the amount of $415.67 to cover remainder of bill for employees' annual physical who did not go to their appointment, for a total cost of $1,760. We have $1,344. Basically, they need another $415.
Motion to take out of contingency.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 14, adopting revised job description for IT Technician Level 1, IT Technician Level 2.
Motion to approve as presented.
And motion Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Human Resource Monthly Report from September 19th, 2019 to October 1st, 2019.
You all in compliance?
Yes, sir.
Motion to approve.
Second. And motion Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Jerry Russ, item 16, accept donation for Fire Department Special Fund Account. Bodell, Thunderberg?
Thunderbird.
Thunderberg?
Thunderbird.
Thunderberg.
Thunderbird.
Just missing of $1,000 and LG Whitehead of $500.
Move.
Motion.
Second.
A motion Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 17, 2020 High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area. That's what HIDE stands for. Initiative Grant Award Number G20SS0008A with authorization for Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez and County Judge Louis Owens to sign.
This is a reoccurring grant that covers the salaries of 4 employees.
The salaries or overtime? Just salaries.
Salaries.
Yeah. Motion to approve.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. We've done 18. Item 19, resolution, City of Del Rio Nutrition and Social Services for Elderly Texas Department of Agriculture Grant, Texans, Feeding Texans.
Move.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 20, accepting money from TAC for the fire truck and other matters related thereto. What is that?
Move. That's that grant we got, right?
Jerry? Explain it.
Could hear you too good back there.
It says accepting money from TAC for the fire truck and other matters related thereto.
Insurance money.
Is that what that is? Right? Yeah, that's what it is. We, now I remember, I put this, had a senior moment here. We put this on the agenda because, there's a check for $10,000, and we're looking into see if that's gonna cover the cost of the truck to fix the motor. The truck is valued at about $22,000, so I needed, some guidance from the court. To me, I think if it's gonna cost us the $10,000, we fix it, and then later on we could look at trading it in, because if we go to sell it broke, we're not gonna get anything for it. So is the court all right with fixing this truck?
I make a motion that we fix it, as long as it don't cost more than $10,000.
I hope it don't,
Second.
because they fixed
Have a
it.
motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Nettleton. Commissioner Nettleton, do you have a question? You were gonna say?
No, just, I didn't want to go over what we had available.
Okay, all right, that'll work. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. I'm sorry, I sort of had mind melt. Item 21, 22, we've gone through. Item 23, budget amendment to increase the county auditor's salary to $116,725 to take effect this fiscal year. Starting first.
Yes.
Okay. And a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 25, contract. Esser and Company Consulting LLC in Valverde County for the administration of Texas CDBG Alcoa Baseball Field Project and authorized county judge to sign.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. We can table this and then bring it back after executive session. Item 26.
Table.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Uh, 27, partnering with Red Cross to install smoke detectors. Red Cross has about 200 and some odd smoke detectors that they would like to install in some areas in Valverde Park, Cinegas. We've even talked about some areas in Comstock and San Felipe. It's set for November 16th. They would like to stage at the community center if that's possible. Meet at the community center, and then we're going to need volunteers to help. Basically, they're battery operated. They don't need to be wired into the house electrical system. But, I mean, if y'all say no, sir?
Motion to approve.
Motion.
I had a
Commissioner-
question.
Yes,
You said
sir.
they were gonna donate the batteries also.
Huh?
Are they donating the batteries?
They're donating, yeah, everything. It comes with everything, and I think, Texas Community Bank was actually gonna help pay for it. Be careful what you ask for, Sylvia. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second. I have a second. Second, Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Nomination of members to sit in Valverde County Appraisal District. Anybody have any names?
For the, I have a couple of names,
Okay,
Kerr, Morton, and, George.
okay. Anybody else have any other names?
Nope.
Nope. This is gonna be interesting. All those in favor? 5-0, well, 4-0 votes, you're gonna abstain?
Abstain, yeah.
You're gonna abstain? 'Cause it's your boy.
Abstain.
Okay.
Thank you.
4-0 vote, 1 abstention. Issuance of fuel card to Tom Garcia.
Move.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Mr. Muskis, authorization to purchase wireless voice and data products and services for AT&T under the State of Texas contract TSO 3420 agreement and through the FirstNet program.
Let me give you we did a realignment on our cell service, and that's the result. We currently have our cell service with AT&T through Byboard. So we went out and started doing a realignment. We had 95 devices. We were paying $44,232 a year. We realigned and got rid of some of the devices that were no longer in service. So we went back to 57 devices under new programs, which would come out to $38,066 a year, which is a saving.
28.
I'm sorry, $28,066, which is a savings of $16,000 a year. Although there's a new program, which is the FirstNet, and I've been approached several times by the sheriff and other departments, EMC, that'd like for the county to participate in it. This service will allow first responders, either designated as primary users on this service or secondary users as well. In case of a catastrophe and cell service goes down, FirstNet will come in and put in what they call COWs, which are mobile stations within 24 hours of service loss, and basically creating new network in the area affected. And whoever has the devices that are comparable to that band 18, which is going to be your FirstNet participants, they'll have communications during that period of time. And that's basically what FirstNet buys you. And in case there's, in an event of an emergency and you still have cell service, you would imagine everybody wants to call their loved ones and find out where you're at. So that would pretty much narrow the bandwidth of available space for law enforcement to be able to use. Therefore, law enforcement, primary and secondary FirstNet users will have first access in and out of the bandwidth that's available at the time. So
There's still a
they can restrict other people out, but these would be the primary.
There's still a $7,900 savings.
And including new devices, because they need to operate on band 14. You wind up still saving $20,000 a year. With new devices, which on a rebate program, it will not cost us anything for new devices.
How are these gonna work? I can tell you, I've used every one of them. You get an order into the county, if it ain't AT&T, it ain't gonna work.
I'm sorry, what was that? How's it gonna work?
It's not gonna work. If it's not AT&T, it's not gonna work. This
That
is
is
still
correct. Yeah,
AT&T.
this is AT&T.
Just a different program.
Yeah, it's basically,
Motion to approve.
Second. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Edgar, Fairgrounds Manager. Item 31, lease agreements between Valverde County and Escamilla, Calvagata, roping, barrel racing, and dinner. We'll do one at a time.
Morning, Judge, Commissioner.
Good morning.
For this one, according to George, this will be the 12th annual that he does there at the fairgrounds. And he's asking to get the fees waived. Reason why is because he provides a meal for over 150 people, prizes, and everything's free of charge to everybody. He's wanting to use the pavilion and the small arena for this event. He's going to extend the invitation to all attendants there at the fairgrounds and their families.
I'll, make a motion to approve and waive the fees.
Is this a benefit or?
No, it's just,
He's not making money out of it.
no, sir, he's not. In fact, he's putting out of his pocket. It's just to bring everybody together at the fairgrounds. I think it's a great way to.
I have a motion by Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor?
All right.
All those against? None, 5-0 vote. B, Sacred Heart Catholic School, St. Jude Walkathon, and this has been done over and over again.
Motion.
I have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw.
Second, there's no
Second,
fee on
Commissioner
that, right?
Vasquez. No. All those in favor?
All right.
5-0 vote. Knights of Columbus penalty shootout.
This is an event they had over the weekend we were not aware of. They just called last minute asking us to move some of the goalies. But I did speak to the person in charge of the Knights of Columbus, so in the future they're gonna give us ample time to present it to the.
So this already took place?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's soccer.
It's
Motion,
the soccer.
motion to approve.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 32, use of stalls by Amistad National Recreation Area for camels and cows. This is also something that's been done in the past.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
All right.
5-0 vote. Use of bleachers by Darrell High School Ram Band for its benefit, Panorama.
Move.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
All right.
5-0 vote. Use of the 60 acres by U.S. Customs and Border Protection as staging area for the emergency evacuation assembly point.
Second.
And if we could add some language in it, because they're looking at developing it. I mean, as long as we have it, that's not a problem, but, sorry, I'm sorry. Who made the motion?
He did. I seconded it.
Okay, motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Update on animal control facility.
Okay, so, at this point, all the center blocks that divide all the kennels has been put up. It's all been painted. We got about 80-90% painted, all the center blocks throughout. The, rough-in for the electrical has been done. They, did the, inside the office, the framing's been done as well, the roof inside the office, the restroom, everything's been,
Right.
yeah. So, we're just waiting for the back wall to be put up, the garage doors, the regular doors to be put up.
And then they've already bought the paint also for the floor. So,
Yes.
bottom line is, we need to finish the plumbing,
Mhm.
inside the restroom. They were working on the meter loop.
Yes.
So that'll probably be done this week. So finish the restroom, and then paint the floor and paint the metal inside and put up the garage doors.
What are we doing with septic?
Septic system, it was put back out for redesign to go to a regular filtration system, not an aerobic system. To go conventional system, because the other one, there was too many moving parts.
Why didn't we just tie into the existing system at the better one we showed?
They're not in line with each other.
Or too far?
Yeah. And it was redesigned, and because it was redesigned and the bids that are coming in right now, we're probably gonna save, I think, compared to the other one, maybe, what, $5,000?
Haven't seen any of the new ones, but that's my understanding from the engineer.
So that's moving along.
Judge, the animal control ordinance is done, and I gave it to the sheriff. Right back there, yeah. So he could review it and determine if there were things that he could do, or if we had to divide it out, because it's paperwork heavy. There's a lot of paperwork that needs to be done. And in the past, the local rabies control and the local animal control, they were separated. So it may be something that y'all want to consider, but once the sheriff makes his notes and his comments, I'll give a copy to everybody.
Okay.
They're ready to be approved.
All right. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say may I speak.
She's just mean. All right, anything else?
That's it.
We're good.
Thank you.
Executive session, closed session, consultation pursuant to Texas Government Code, attorney-client privilege, A, B, 551.071 and 551.129, proposed purchase of public funds by Valverde County for public parks, recreational areas of certain real and personal property located in the county, and C, 551.072, discussion regarding the purchase, exchange, leases, or value of real property regarding the proposed purchase of certain real property in Valverde County by Valverde County with public funds for public funds, public parks and recreational purposes, since deliberation in an open meeting regarding this matter would have a detrimental effect on the position, the Commissioners Court, and negotiating. That's it. We'll take a little break, bathroom break, and then we'll go into executive session. You ready? Are we ready? She's looking. We're born ready. He's born ready. Yes. It's 10:40. Court will now come into session. We had tabled, something. 26. We just leave it tabled?
Yep.
Okay. Let's go back. Came out of executive session, no action was taken, blah, blah, blah. Commissioners' comments? None? County judge's comments, I've got some. We were having a meeting with Commissioner Nettleton 3 months ago and said that we ought to go to EDC. They actually came to us. Commissioner Flores and myself will be meeting with EDC with Jay Simpson on Friday. Commissioner Vasquez and myself will be meeting with the city on the 60 acres. I think they sent you an email. They're trying to redo it. The road out at the base, my understanding is y'all are done.
Where the paving is complete, the only thing we're waiting on is a couple of things. The city's gonna do the concrete, but I'm waiting on some things with the base to get people cleared, and then they'll start on the concrete.
But
paving is done.
Okay, I want to congratulate both y'all, Martin and Commissioner Nettleton. Frontera Road, I think we're moving along, we're moving forward on that. I think we're $1.6 million short right now.
Is that?
Yeah. But, I think we're trying to secure some funds with that, see if we can bring it up. And I want to thank our council and thank our auditor. I mean, this thing with SE Ranch has been a nightmare. And there were so many moving parts, but with y'all's help and with y'all's guidance, I appreciate it. Thank you. If there's nothing else, this meeting is adjourned. Thanks.